What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Sister or not, I'm not going to show you any more mercy. Face my wrath and get ready.
Veldora let out a roar as he unleashed his powers. He was replaced by a powerful, majestic dragon who was completely black in appearance. At the scene, Velgrind laughed. For her, it was far too convenient.
Huh? That absurdity. You are genuinely too stupid for your own good. It appears that you have overlooked some crucial information. I suppose it's time to remind you once more that you cannot defeat me.
The historic kaiju battle started when Velgrind changed into her stunning, agile, red dragon form.
Volume 15, Chapter 1. A Moment of Desperation, Part 1.
Dwarf King Gazel Dwargo suddenly found himself in the middle of a bloody conflict as Rimuru was getting ready to sneak into the imperial city. He was unable to look away from the embodiment of beauty that was dispersing death in the distance.
Did gravity collapse just happen? Theoretically, it could increase its power indefinitely. Do you believe Legion magic can stop it?
That's crazy. Even if you put the Magic Strike team and Magic Support team on defense, you cannot stop it from happening. A true dragon is not a threat that can be measured,
replied Admiral Paladin Vaughn. Vaughn and the dwarf army stationed in the vicinity had been waiting for Gazel's arrival. As a result, he witnessed the devastation of the mixed core of the Empire firsthand. The severity of the event left every soldier dumbfounded. Despite having lost all motivation to fight, they did not run away. Everyone was aware that leaving this place meant losing their friends and loved ones back home. Their sacrifice would have been worthwhile even if it had only extended the lives of those dear loved ones for a brief period. They remained rooted to the ground in their neat rows as a result of that belief. Champion King Gazel would not let them die in vain. The soldiers held this belief, and it was the source of their steadfast commitment to him. Gazel was in pain despite the fact that he fully comprehended and embraced the troops' emotions. He appeared to be calm, but his thoughts were racing.
We can't win, and everyone's lives will be wasted in this pointless conflict. Should I give up? The Empire won't permit it. We have to demonstrate some of our power to them.
They needed to persuade the Empire that accepting them would be preferable to fighting them. If not, the Empire would not even accept their surrender. The only option then was to battle them tooth and nail in order to survive. They had to have faith that their deaths wouldn't be in vain, regardless of how many sacrifices were required.
They say that quantity is better than quality, but this feels dishonest. We'll have to face her by ourselves and vanquish her.
Hey, isn't the king supposed to be in charge of the entire army?
There is just one enemy, you fool. What good is it to be in charge of the entire army in these circumstances?
Gazel laughed in response to Vaughn's question. Velgrind was the only opponent that existed. Gazel and the others had to find a means to survive because strategy and tactics were useless against her. Vaughn, who was aware of this, made his joke in an effort to make Gazel feel better. Gazel felt his anxiousness lessen, so that was helpful.
My king, it appears that the Scorch dragon is not the only enemy.
Henrietta reported to Gazel.
Behind her, there are other individuals who appear to be engaged in some sort of ritual. According to Lady Jane, the ritual may contain elements of supreme magic.
Gazel responded by nodding. Some sort of ritual involved the supreme magic that had sacrificed 60,000 soldiers. Gazel was able to discern a nefarious plot right quickly, though he didn't want to speculate on its specifics. Nevertheless, Velgrind, who was at the center of the plot, would be exceedingly difficult to defeat. The only way ahead in such a situation was to triumph over others who were following her.
Do you wish to move the troops?
Gazel shook his head in response to Dolph's question. The highly armed strike force was not easily maneuverable and, if not moved carefully, would become a target for magic. Normally, they would employ their formidable defenses as a shield to advance, but doing so against Velgrind would be useless. They would have no choice but to launch a suicidal attack with 500 Pegasus Knights.
I object to the notion of making this defense more vulnerable. Gazel is correct. We'll simply have to enter on our own. Okay, Dolph?
Vaughn laughed as he spoke. In contrast, Dolph rubbed his head and spoke firmly.
That's insulting, Vaughn. To address the king by his name is absolutely absurd. You must think about your position.
Dolph gave a brief speech before nodding in agreement and smiling as if he had suddenly forgotten his complaint.
However, you've got a point this time. Dispersing our forces is not something we should do if we want to buy as much time as we can. Furthermore, if it's just us, we'll be more agile and may be able to catch the adversary off guard.
Henrietta concurred, saying,
Lady Jane also claimed she would join the battle once she had persuaded the elders. Let's just leave all that to her, and we can let loose like we used to.
They anxiously awaited Gazel's response. These longtime buddies hardly changed. Gazel had their support as they stood with him in this terrible situation. Gazel said with laughter,
Those people are such fools. If Jane, our chaperone, heard this, I wonder what she would say.
Jane had accompanied Gazel and his crew for a considerable length of time, providing them with forthright advice and suggestions. She served as Gazel's valued advisor and was the most powerful magician in the Dwarven Kingdom.
I imagine Jane would be really upset.
Gazel was about to make his choice while keeping that in mind, but it appeared to have come a bit too late.
Oh no, when I merely glance away from you for a second, this happens. You're always causing trouble, King Gazel.
Jane came by means of transfer magic just before Gazel and the others departed.
Jane, you heard everything, right?
Gazel appeared embarrassed when Jane side-eyed her and she shook her head.
I felt relieved to see that you had developed into a great king. But this time, I can't hold it against you. There is nothing we can do to defeat a foe like her. A true dragon is catastrophe class because it is difficult for a nation to deal with.
Well, that's right.
The usual sorcery employed by humans could not affect the true dragons. In actuality, the magic Velgrund was casting was far too potent for a human to control. It was uncertain whether or not the human race's champions could fend off a true dragon, even if they banded together. However, it did not follow that all hope was lost. Jane stated,
I just received notice.
Hmm?
The reinforcements are being sent by His Majesty Rimuru. Let's move when they get here.
And just in time, there was hope.
How is that even conceivable? It hasn't been that long since I last spoke with him, I think.
It's difficult for me to understand as well, but I know he's not lying. Vester himself informed me of this, and with only a few words, His Majesty can command all of his subjects to act.
Everyone present could only nod their heads as they listened to Jane's perplexing statements. Yes, everyone immediately comprehended. Before they could even shift tactics, reliable reinforcements had already shown up. A sudden spatial distortion occurred. A little army of elite troops emerged, as though they were being encased in a huge cocoon. 300 Kurenai were being led by Gobua, and 100 Hiryu were being commanded by Gabble. A fighting force of 400 members, each at least an A rank, could compete with the Pegasus Knights. Additionally, there was a massive weapon that attracted everyone's attention.
Although I had heard that it had been refined, I did not anticipate that they would use it in this situation to the fullest. That's Rimuru for you.
Is that the magic armored soldier's finalized form?
That's correct. It appears to have been given the moniker, Demon Colossus. It is an effective ally to have at your side.
Gazel knew it would be no match for Velgrund, but its majestic appearance alone may put the warriors at ease.
How trustworthy. We might have had a greater chance of winning the battle if we could have mass-produced them.
They would be worthless against Velgrund, regrettably. However, it might be capable of handling a disaster class.
Some strangers approached Gazel and the others as they were having their talk. It was Testarossa, the 3 demon girls, and Gabble, the head of the legion. Then came Gobua and Hakuro after them.
King Gazel, it has been a while.
For whatever reason, Testarossa greeted them rather than Gabble. She was the ideal candidate for this circumstance. Due to her diplomatic power, Testarossa had a wealth of knowledge and was accustomed to dealing with circumstances of this nature.
It's been a while, Lady Testarossa. I appreciate the reinforcements.
Gazel's response would have contained several points that could have been contested had the situation been different. It would have been more appropriate to have a spokesperson respond instead, given the formalities and etiquette that needed to be taken into account. However, it was not the time to discuss such matters. Everyone agreed that this was the case, so they skipped the formalities and held a strategy discussion instead. Everyone moved to the command post and started working. Testarossa told them of the strategy on behalf of Rimuru and the others. She then suggested a course of action for this situation.
Rimuru directly striking the Emperor, huh?
That's more doable than a suicide mission.
Is that true? It seems like a crazy idea all by itself.
Gazel made a deep thought-like snort. Vaughn concurred that things had changed for the better. Dolph anguished over the possibility of doing anything else. There wasn't time to ponder it. No one offered an alternative, so Testarossa moved the conversation along.
We'll deal with Lady Velgrund. The rest of you should do something to stop the ritual from happening in the back.
I don't object.
Gazel accepted the impromptu proposal. The only people who could be entrusted with the most deadly task were the demon girls because there were no other candidates. Jane was the one who pressed the brakes.
Just a second. Can you, Lady Testarossa, the primordials, vanquish the Scorch dragon?
This was a crucial query that would impact the entire undertaking. Jane believed that Testarossa and her squad could not succeed since Velgrund was so overwhelming. The three primordials were without a doubt their strongest force, but this made it even more crucial to comprehend their chances of success. Everyone else's fate would be set in stone if Testarossa and the others were to be vanquished here.
To be honest, I don't believe we can win.
In that case, you should continue to be on guard. Why don't we wait here and see if His Majesty Rimmeru's plan works instead of agitating her in haste?
They should buy some time by stalling because the odds are against them. Jane's reasoning appeared to be sound, but Rimmeru's forces outright rejected it.
We're afraid we can't do that. Lady Velgrund might go back to the Imperial City and trouble His Majesty if we leave her alone.
Carrera was adamant and determined in her speech. Despite the fact that Rimmeru had instructed them to leave Velgrund alone, she had determined that they needed to get her attention.
What's more, we didn't come here to talk about a strategy for the battle. Sir Rimmeru gave us an order, and we were merely here to inform you of it. We will speak with you if we may be of assistance, but I want you to know that we won't let you get in our way.
Even Hakuro, who is typically soft-spoken, expressed his disagreement harshly. He prioritized clear intentions over manners because time was of the essence. Gazel understood the point. Before his furious comrades could object more, he spoke swiftly.
I have no choice but to step away if Sir Hakuro, my master, has said so. Otherwise, do you have a better suggestion?
Asked Gazel. His comrades could only shake their heads solemnly.
With the Imperial Intelligence Bureau on the move, it won't be simple to impede the ritual. We should remain grounded here, in my opinion.
Dolph made a definite statement. Prior to the operation starting, all that was left to do was confirm the information. Velgrund was extremely dangerous to provoke. Despite being completely aware of this, the three demonesses acted without hesitation.
Can we disrupt the ritual by dealing with her?
Ultima posed a question.
I suppose we'll have to see.
Testarossa responded.
I'm not sure, but even I would find it impossible to maintain a gravity collapse operating at that output.
Hey anime fans! Episode 4 of Solo Leveling is now live on Anime Fan Narrations. Check it out in the link below and join the adventure. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to the new members of AnimeKouhai supporters: Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Jordan Mersha, Jay Magsino, Recrel17, Bismarck Munoz, Arion Booker, Sagar Kotecha, Jerry Sladek, Andre Hamilton. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.